the Crudcast with your host, Louis Nisimov.
Now my selector. Oh, una bomba clad rapping.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Stardom Situm Crudcast that we embark ourselves upon. This is strictly related to our league. I know a lot of people are looking for Stardom Situms, but it really doesn't matter because it's Sunday, and most of you have made your waiver claims or your last-minute pickups by this point. That being said, let's get to the first matchup of the week. Me versus Downtown Abbey Guy. All right. I do not think Downtown Guy I would change much in your lineup as much as I hate to give you advice right now. Especially now that you've already played Boyd. Not to one-up you, but I think he was a good call figuring Higgins was hurt. And like I said in the chat before the game, I think all Bengals receivers were a start. And yeah, I like Beckham's matchup. Odelius Beckham Jr.'s matchup versus Minnesota secondary. It's not the best to say the least. And I also like Devonta Smith against KC. But if it were me with Stardom Situms, I think Beckham's a start. And in your situation, I think Smith is a sit. Until Beckham goes cold this year or gets hurt or something like that, I think you kind of got to play him. There's some substantial upside. And let's hope he does not get injured for the sake of Downtown Guy. Okay, your toughest call this week, Downtown Guy, is probably due to the Josh Jacobs situation on Monday night being a game-time decision at this point. Because I think it's a decent spot for Peyton Barber, believe it or not. He looked really, really good by watching just what I saw. And it really looks like Kenyon Drake is either, and I don't think he really has jumped the shark, but just in Gruden's offense, I think Peyton Barber is the clear backup at this point to Jacobs as far as getting the most carries and volume. And the power running kind of thing that really works out better for that offense. I mean, I'm not saying Kenyon Drake couldn't have a crazy game where he gets a bunch of grabs or goes off. I'm just saying that, for now, I like Barber. And like I said, it's a game-time decision, so at that point you're looking at Javonte Williams or Tyson Williams for the Ravens. And Javonte Williams, to reiterate, for Denver. Personally, in this situation, my start is Javonte due to the fact that Denver has a really good defense, and I just think that Javonte is due for a big game. Whether that comes this week or in the future, I'm not really sure. But, at the end of the day, that's something that can put your opponent away, and I think that, that's something to consider for you. Now, on to myself briefly. My Stardom Situm contemplations this week are mostly at the tight end position, as I have been raiding the waiver wire for tight end all year. I've chosen to go with Dalton Schultz. It's a bit of a difficult matchup considering Carolina's a very good defense, and they're actually very good against tight ends as well. Believe it or not, part of me wants to play the opposite side of the ball and play the Tommy Tremble over in Carolina. I just think that with Dan Arnold gone and Sam Darnold being a quarterback that seems to like to throw to the tight end, that there's some high upside there. I don't really know if that's going to happen this week against Dallas. Things are going to be kind of heated for Carolina. I think it's a big test this weekend. But they could really show up. We'll see. It's going to be rough without CMC. So Might be a reason that I just stick with the Dalton Schultz thing and just hope that the Cowboys offense can exploit them kind of on their heels a little bit is what I'm going with. A lot of the experts over on numberfire.com are high on Dalton Schultz this week and across the way. Over in Sleeper, he's not projected to get much, but everything I've seen from Dalton Schultz is really, really good. I know a lot of times when I talk on here, of course, since I'm a player in your guys' league, you're not exactly hoping for that to keep happening, but that's what I'm hoping for when I pick them up and when I play them, as are you most of the time, right? So I wish good things for all of us. It seems like most of us have been playing strong all year. So that's one of my contemplations. And then, over to the Colts D play, if you're wondering what I'm doing there. I really like the Colts D this year. They've had a lot of really strong performances, and I think they're kind of underrated. But a lot of it depends on the opposite side of the ball. Like, how long can Wentz stay on the field? And, he's got a couple of bad ankles right now, and he doesn't really have the easiest matchup this week. So I'm hoping the Colts show up aggressive and smart playing at Miami. So this is kind of a coin flip play in my eyes, but I'm going to see if it works out. And yeah, I mean, most of my starts are kind of clear cut. As long as Lockett's good to go, which I'm still have to wake up and monitor in a little bit here. Nyheim Hines is my boy, but so is Kareem Hunt, for obvious reasons. And I don't want any friendly fire, so I'm sticking to my guns by playing Kareem Hunt. You know what I mean? If you're wondering what I'm really saying there is that, hey, you never know if Nyheim Hines is going to explode. Guy is extremely talented, and last week was a good week for him. And then over to Mike Guy picking up Madison. Good luck with that. And I've noticed a lot of guys are picking up people I've had, and I'm doing kind of the same thing by picking up Singletary and Corey Davis, also known as COVID years. If Zach Wilson ever gets it together, for my sake, especially since I'm going against Titans D this week, he's a clear number one, Corey Davis. At the Jets, and I also grabbed Rashad Bateman, so I'm wondering if he's going to be a force to be reckoned with over in Baltimore. So that's pretty much my team this week. My thoughts and my stardom situms are, like I said, pretty straightforward, but tight end, you have no idea how many tight ends I've been considering, including Dawson Knox, but I will elaborate on that later as we get to my mom's team, which I believe is coming up next. So, over to the lonely kickers. Okay, so Trey Sermon is kind of screaming at me, or like, hey, I could do really well against this weak-ass Seattle run defense. However, Elijah Mitchell is still questionable as of this morning. So I like her running backs this week. Jamal Williams in Detroit. I like that play. I've seen a lot of good things from him. A very confident young man, and the Lions are using their running backs a lot, and they're doing so effectively. So you never know when he's going to have a week like he did in week 1. I've been texting my mom all week as far as stardom situms go about tight end, because when I saw Gronk was hurt, I was concerned, and then she had a James White injury as well. Mom, some good pickups for you. You haven't done so. I know you're betting on Cole Kmet this week, and probably Fields having a better game if he does play. But due to that 2 QB controversy / duel, and just a lot of conversation about what's going on in Chicago at the QB position right now, I kind of avoid that. I would really like to go with Dawson Knox if I were you, mainly number 1. Also betting heavily on Tyler Conklin this week for Minnesota, Gerald Everett for Seattle, and like I said earlier, Tommy Tremble over in Carolina. Pretty much in that order. Other than tight end, I like my mom's plays this week. Sutton's still a start in my book, especially over Nelson Aguilar versus Tampa Bay. And over Zach Pascal in Miami. I do like Pascal in Miami, and I still like Aguilar to have on your team, but yeah, this week I think you got to go with Cortland Sutton with the way that Bridgewater has been playing thus far. And of course, he has one of his biggest challenges thus far. All right, moving right along to my mom's opponent this week. The Lonely Kickers are facing Team Johnny Flanagan, none other than Team Johnny Flanagan, also known as Wolf Cola, approximately 3 years ago, if anybody remembers that. But we seem to forget things. But it's nice because Sleeper remembers them for us. So, Johnny, yeah, your boy George Kittle is questionable. By the sounds of it, he should play, but you can't rule it out either. There's some swelling going on with the injury. It's something you got to watch out for. Maybe look forward to a text from me because I need my division to play well. Let's go, baby. Laviska Shenault finally did what I needed him to do in week 1. I'm glad to see it, considering I drafted him. And the rest of your team, Johnny, is pretty much full of obvious starts, especially with Saquon Barkley looking more like his old stud self. Yes, homo. Boom. Let's go, baby. All right, moving over to Team Dogecoin featuring Meme Lords, a.k.a. Ben Guy. Let's get it in for Ben Guy, shall we? I sent out a message into the chat. Ben Guy was way too last minute on suggesting possibly someone over Marvin Jones, like Cordell Patterson in Atlanta this week, or Antonio Brown facing New England at New England. However, I claimed I was kind of neutral on that decision. Everything we saw last week from Atlanta, and the fact that Jones usually plays better fantasy-wise than he did on Thursday, it was just kind of tough luck. I think Marvin Jones Jr. is a decent play in Jacksonville still, but, it just didn't pan out. So I guess between those three guys, well, now without Chark being there, your odds of him actually doing better are really good. So he's definitely somebody you want to hang on to, considering Chark's out for the year. But that's just the way it goes with bad luck. Still deep down, I swear I kind of liked Antonio Brown now that he's coming back from COVID over Jones going against New England. But he could have easily hypothetically he could hypothetically get 5 points this Sunday. And Jones could have scored like 15, on Thursday. You never really know. So I don't think that was a bad call, is what I'm trying to say. Henderson looks like a go, which is obvious at this point. So you got to play him, even though he's going against a little bit of a tougher defense in Arizona. They can sometimes be stingy, but I like the Rams' offense. Really, as weird as this is, almost better than anyone else right now. And that's me just being straight up honest. I wish this was a little bit more insightful. I think Derek Carr is kind of a ballsy play for you, Ben, against the Chargers, considering Crandy Hill is playing against the Jets. I do the same thing with my players. I make ballsy calls, and I respect the no-fear attitude. I think it's better going forward as you play fantasy football next year and then the year after that to just continue to follow your own advice. But if it's me deep down this week, my stardom is Tannehill for the Titans going against the New York Jets. I just have a hunch this week they're going to do really well. LOL. However, I believe profantasyfootball.com, I think that's the website. If you just Google Pro Fantasy Football, that game is predicted to be a low-scoring game, the Titans and the Jets. So in a weird way, I start Tannehill this week if I'm you, but I still like the Derek Carr call. It's kind of a tongue twister. Derek Carr call. Good luck. Ben Guy, I hate to say this, think you're going to need it. But little luck from Lou Guy. The somewhat Irishman goes a long way. All right, over to Scam A. Scam A, we went over your stardom situms last weekend. I think everything lines up with that from what I see, except for Dalvin Cook, which we already discussed in the chat. You're monitoring that. You're doing awesome. Think you're all good. If Dalvin does play today, I like Miles Sanders for Philly over Clyde Edwards-Helaire in that matchup where they face each other, KC versus Philly. But both of them very well could have similar fantasy numbers as a final total. They might get it different ways, but this is what I got on that. I think Edwards-Helaire is the less talented, explosive of the two. But if KC comes out firing on all cylinders to get back to 500 this week, which they very well may do, and I think they're going to, you never know. But in a fake football world, I play Sanders and get used to playing him because I think he's a stud. Watch some of his highlights. I think Philly would be wise to use him more frequently this week and into the future. All right, that's all I got on that. Over to Luke the Beast versus Slick is still a fraud. Luke the Beast, couldn't have done it better myself, buddy. Maybe look to find some more RB depth in the future on your bench. But if James Conner for Arizona can keep being a crucial part of that offense, you might not have to sweat it right now. Still, if I were you, I'd be on the hunt for the next guy up in our league because everybody's going to scoop him except for the following. Steak, Mi Madre, depending on how she feel and how much wine she's had and C'est Triple C, depending on how he feels and how many IPS he's had with his boys. Seriously, you three, if you're listening, you need to hit up the waivers. It's getting kind of like ZZZZZ. Watching you guys play fantasy football, and it's rubbing off on the league. I don't like it. So yeah, Triple C, why don't you make a move? Nissa, make a move on some waivers for Deshaun. I like to get massages in the massage parlor, Watson. I mean, technically, it's just a bad look for your team right now. You know what I mean? Anyways, Luke, good luck. Over to Mike Guy, your opponent, aka Slick is still a fraud, which couldn't be more true. I feel like Sleeper's 9-point projection on Logan Thomas is a little bit high for a floor, but we will see. Definitely has potential depending on how Heineken plays, Tyler Heineken. Which there's a lot of reasons to think he could do good. Your team is all starts for me. Robinson without Hyde was a good call. Mike Davis has a tough matchup against Washington's D-line, who's looking to earn some more respect this week, if you ask me. Some respect. Put some respect on their name. And Mike Davis is probably still going to split carries any way you look at it with Patterson. So all year going forward, that's something to think about. So good call there. I know you know that. So, in Guam, apparently it's the opposite of a Bermuda Triangle in fantasy football, where magical fantasy decisions appear out of thin air whilst you sleep. So, congratulations on that. And that was probably the only debate really in your lineup this week. I am noticing one thing that I am going to debate though, so I just lied. Actually, I would play Tim Patrick over Jacoby Myers. This is an easy call for me after rewatching the Broncos-Jets last week. Bridgewater's throwing deeper passes for one. Once again, that was on Pro Fantasy Football. You can find that information. And then that team's just running smooth as of now. I think you're kind of playing with house money a little bit with Denver. And then this is a tough matchup for them as far as what they've been up against so far. But that's even more reason you might see Patrick be a standout here. And that guy made some really good catches and good coverage against the Jets. And I know we're talking about the Jets, but surprisingly, one of their good areas of expertise is their secondary. So good things from Tim Patrick going forward. Nice scoop, by the way. I hesitated to pull the trigger, and I really wish I would have, but I did manage to steal Hunter Renfrow, who I also like going forward. Good luck, buddy. Just wondering from you, Mike Guy, as you're listening in, you think you're going to three-peat? I don't know, man. You just I like the team out of the draft. It seems like the coin flip on Najee Harris and Robinson at this point is really going in your favor. Early on, it looks like the Robinson thing was like, I don't know. And, you were even willing to trade him to me and others. But I think you got to hold on to your hat with that at this point. I think you are. But Najee Harris is just a beast. Just a man amongst boys. He's probably had a few IPAs. Anyways, next game, Sean Guy, a.k.a. Space Farce v. Spartans Don't Kneel. Sean Guy, I like everything you got going this week. Tough luck with Jacobs being a game time decision on Monday night. But Chuba Hubbard, also known as Chubba Hubbard or Chubbard, might break out this week. I like it. What I saw on Thursday night, he looked good. So I imagine they're really going to need to fill that void of CMC, and that's pretty much the best waiver option out there right now. Rewinding 5 days ago, that was a nice scoop. Way to go. Somehow, some way, in an alternate universe, I like Michael Pittman for Indy versus Miami on the road over Brandon Ayuk, the former Sun Devil. But much like Ben's receivers this week, I can't really say it's, I'm kind of neutral on that because I could see Pittman being someone in Indy really needs to lead the game, where as Ayuk might just have like this okay game for no real reason at all. But the other way of looking at it, which is what most people are doing if they have common sense, is that Ayuk breaks out this week versus a very bad secondary. On second thought, Sean, I really like the call. So that's if you're wondering where I stand on it, my mind's kind of paranoid in general, but I like Brandon Ayuk. Not a bad flex situation you got going there either way, and I'm hoping that you, as the fake football coach that you are, break out yourself this week. I appreciate you being here with me on all these podcasts, all these crudcasts, whatever they are. I hope to upload these to the actual podcast network of iTunes and Spotify very soon. And I appreciate your support, man. And I also appreciate the support of all you guys listening. And shout out to Downtown Guy as well, and my cousin Johnny Flanagan, who is currently in New York City, living his best life. Now, Spartans Don't Kneel, I hope you are listening, but I doubt you are. Just want to tell you, Julio Jones is out this week, if you haven't already heard. And you got to go with Cole Beasley. Unless you're looking to pick somebody up. But, like against Houston, Cole Beasley, if, Stephon Diggs gets double teamed and, they start queuing up on this Emmanuel Sanders thing, you never know when Cole Beasley's going to have a real big game. And for him, in this half PPR league that we're in, it looks more like a big game for him could easily be like a 10-catch game. I can see it happening. And your second option here is to move Mike Williams to your WR2 and then play Leonard Fournette at the flex against New England, which I kind of like as well. Fournette seems to be stealing most of the show as far as that 2 RB tandem goes. Looks like Antonio Gibson for Washington is a go. And I don't really care what any report says about Lamar Jackson being questionable. He's going to play. Back injury I saw, I can't even read it because he's going to go if they're going to have a chance to win. So you got to watch out for Gibson maybe just in case something goes down, I believe J.D. McKissick is still available on our waiver wire. So, Luke, if you're listening to this part, which you're probably not, this would be someone that would be a good ad for you, or even me, or anyone else who has room, a.k.a. Shtick. I digress. Hopefully you get the memo. Shtick. Tate Guy, also known as IPS with my boss. Buddy, I wouldn't change a thing this week. And on that note, you're a bad team to be facing this week, if you ask me. So And to that, I say things can always go randomly bad in the NFL, but this week, I don't think so. I'm just not feeling it, not seeing it. So good luck to your opponent, Otto Stieg. The CPU loaded you up at running back, that's for sure. Now you got Joe Mixon. You got Montgomery. You're just loaded at running back, but because of this, your wide receivers are kind of weak, but you don't know yet what's going to pan out. Robbie Anderson for Carolina this week might be due for more targets with the loss of the tight end Arnold. He might be leaning on someone he knows, that being Sam Darnold, and then the loss of CMC is going to open up some targets and some action his way as well. They could easily end up, in my mind, being pass heavy if all goes well against Dallas. And of course, they're going to mix in the run, but you would really like to see Darnold play comfortably as he's done so far. So that should be a good game. I look forward to watching that, whether I get to catch it live or have to catch it post-live. I really think that Carolina's up for a measuring stick game, as is Dallas. That's his real name. I don't know why. It's just kind of a mind bleep on Juju. But yeah, Smith-Schuster could also be due for more looks than before due to the fact that Claypool is out. And Ben Roth this week is said to have more time in the backfield versus most teams, according to Pro Fantasy Football detailed stats that I don't have access to because I don't want to pay $10 a month and $9 a month or whatever, but they gave me some of the stats. This week, I still think you're doomed, and so be it, since you auto-drafted. I don't think that should be allowed next year, and I feel like reasons why I don't think that should be allowed is because myself, how much football I'm watching, I'm better off joining up with some like gambling addicts across America who have no life, unlike you, who has one. Time to tone it down a little bit, I guess, with that successful rich guy attitude. Maybe just a few notches. Have you heard of Bitcoin and Dogecoin and Cardano? Just be a piece of shit like me, Steak, is what I'm trying to say. Come on, guy. So yeah, I'm excited for the fourth week of the NFL. I got 11 hours of football to watch once again. And while you guys are watching 400 hours of commercials, I still have to watch Mic'd Up at the NFL on YouTube with Kareem Hunt being part of that. My boy Kareem Hunt. And this week, teams I would like especially more than others. Some of them might be obvious to you, but I like the Browns, the Buccaneers, the Bills, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Lions, LOL, the Ravens. And those are just off the top of my head. Good luck to all of you, and booyah.
Now my selector.
This presentation was brought to you by Triple C Sports Radio.